All right, so here's the assignments that we've had for the class. So we've had the page transitions, which was like our first go at stuff. We've had our titles, which is our little text bumper thing that we add to each video at the beginning. We have our text animation, which is all those quotes that we animated or the words we animated. Our unfold. We didn't get to this one, so we're going to skip the project box animation. We didn't do a design rule this time. We did Angry Birds, that's 5. We did the hologram, that's 6. The demo reel I'm going over now. Camera tracking was a serial box, so that's 7. Character scorecard was 8. That's right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yes, 8. Okay. So basically we've had 8 assignments, but the numbering system is off a little bit because our title we never gave an actual number to. So our demo reel will actually be assignment number 8 for our stuff, just so if you're keeping track of that, okay? So the purpose of the demo reel is that we're putting together all the stuff that we've done throughout this semester. In the past, what I've done is just have people slap it together, just like take all your stuff and put it there, and that's usually pretty boring. So this year we're going to fancy it up because we didn't get to the 1, so I'm just going to roll points into some of the other assignments. So for the sake of me showing it up here, I just have text. That way it goes quicker. Typically what you want to do is you want to create a folder for your demo reel first, Sarcona demo reel. Inside here, make another folder, and then drop in each one of your assignments. So this can basically be the movie for each one of your assignments. Now, if you're going to take this and actually make it into a demo reel, like for use in the public space, you would actually want to grab your actual project folder, not your movie. Because what happens is, if you take a movie that gets compressed, and then we put it back into After Effects and make it into another movie, it gets compressed again. So then the audio sounds even worse, and then the video looks even worse, okay? If we go to the original one and we compress it, it's only being compressed one time, okay? So for something that's going to be seen outside this class, use your project files. If you're just showing it in this class just because we're doing it for this, you can simply just use your movie because it's the quickest way to do it, okay? For me, I'm using stills just so this whole process goes quicker, okay? So you should have a movie for your unfolding. You should have a movie for your Angry Birds, your character cards, your hologram, and then your text animators. Those are basically the 5 movies that you will definitely need to make sure you have inside this box. You'll also need the comp for your page or for your title sequence. Okay, so you can add the title sequence at the beginning that says demo reel. And then we also want to have the page transitions in here so we can transition from one item to the next item to the next item. Okay. So I put them all into a folder, and I'm just going to go into After Effects and just import all those things. So if I just drag these into After Effects, it imports all that stuff. Now, some of you did do Illustrator artwork for your title sequence. If that's the case, just make sure that the stuff links correctly, then it should be fine. If not, then it won't work. All right, so I have all the stuff inside here. So here is my title sequence. Here is my page transition. So I'm going to start off with the composition, and I'm going to make this 960 by 540 just like we've always done. My duration, I don't know how I got set to that weird number or whatever. Let's just say 30 seconds. Everything else should already be the same. Okay, so let me just drop this up here. Drop this up here. Come on. Down here. Where do you want to go? Just outside that box. That's all I need you to do. All right, he's going to stay there. That's fine. No, he won't. We'll go down here. There we go. Now he's out of it. All right, so there's my comp. So what I want to do is just start off right from the very start of this as to what I want. So I want my title sequence first. So I'll go to my composition. Here's my final comp with vignette. Okay, so there's my name and stuff. If I go into my final comp, I have everything shied, so I can't see it. There we go. And I have everything locked also. I know. I don't know. All right, so my name here, let's see, this. right there. There's 3D Unfold. Okay, so this will be DemoReel. Make sure you spell DemoReel correctly. It says DemoReel here. I typed it in. Did not update. I don't have caps lock on. Yep, thank you. I am. You can tell it's the end of the semester, right?
Well, it's not technically. It's still got like 2 weeks.
Technically, yes. DemoReel. All right.
Would you rather I say it's 4 days? No. Say it's like
There we go. So I just deleted that expression from there. DemoReel. Perfect. Okay. And then, like I said, this is assignment number 2. So I'll put assignment number 2 there. Nope, it's not 2. That's way off. That's 8. I get distracted easy, as you can tell. DemoReel, assignment 8. Cool.
Now you have an error.
I know. I'm going to look for my error here. I'm going to hit the E for expression. I'm going to see that there's an error, and then just delete that. There we go. All right. That's why I got to stop demoing stuff, right? Okay. So there's assignment 8, DemoReel, perfect. I go back to my comp 1. I can drop in my final comp vignette. And then I get my assignment 8 bumper, okay? So now what I want to do is I want to go into each one of my assignments. So I'm going to drop down one of my assignments. It does not matter which order you put these in. Typically what you want to do for anything like this is progressive. Here's assignment 1, here's assignment 2, here's assignment 3. Let's say you went backwards, it's going to look like your stuff progressively got worse, right, as the semester went on. So you want it to look like it gets better, so that's what you should do. So the first one we did was the text animators. So I'm going to drop that in. Because this is a still, it's going to basically take up the entire distance of my comp. Obviously, when you have a movie, it'll just be as long as that movie is, okay? So I'm going to shrink this down so that it is an appropriate size. And I'm going to scoot it over. Now what we don't want to do is just have it do this where our stuff comes on and then it jumps to the next one. I want to have that transition there. That's why I also brought in the page transitions comp so that I can go to my page transitions, find one of these comps that I like. So it doesn't matter which one. That's fantastic. I love that one. Okay. So I'm going to use that one as my transition from one piece to the next piece. So I'll remember that's that one. I'll go to my, not this final comp. This is where it gets confusing because now everything is called final comp. There we go. So I'm going to drop this one down here. And I'll put it right there. Now it has to overlap, right? So I can't just be like at the end of it because then we'll get basically the same effect. It goes from this and then jumps to that black screen. We don't want that black screen. I want an actual transition. Yep. Thank you. So there we go. I know. All right. So now we have an actual transition. Obviously, our title sequence needs to make sure that it's in there all the way first before we start transitioning. Don't have the title sequence. Here's it coming in, and then let's pretend that this just got cut short. I wouldn't want to drop this in here. I'd want to fix that so that it does expand enough so that I do have some room for overlap. If you remember some of the stuff we've talked about, like for the character card one and the Angry Bird one, I think we did on this too for a couple people. You can go to time and then do enable timer mapping, and this allows you to, here's where this comp ends, okay, so it just blanks out right there. I can then take this once I do that timer mapping and keep that still image. It's stupid, I have to go like one frame. I don't know why it does that. I have to go one frame here, click the diamond, and then delete this diamond in that order. And now I can go past it and still see that comp. So let's pretend my comp was just too short. I can just basically extend that comp so I have that still image there to do the overlap. Look at the timing of your things too. If you had 15 seconds of that, that's way too long. Let me reset this. This is on for my other class. There we go. So now that's 4 seconds. And that's 5 seconds, and that's 6 seconds, and that's 7 seconds. That's way too long for my thing to be up there. The whole purpose is just to give you an idea of it. There's not a whole lot of text. So right after this comes in, assignment 8 demo reel, I'm going to wait like half a second and then bring in my transition. Okay, so now this pops in right there. Now, I'll take this and put this up here. I'll bring this over. Now, our text animators may already have a background in them. Most likely, it's going to not be the same color that I just had on the other one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this page transition and go backwards with it. So it went one way to add it on. I'm going to duplicate it, reverse it, so that it then goes off the screen. That way I have something that I could transition from one to the other. So if I go to this and I duplicate it, I go to my brackets here, and I type in -100. Now this will play backwards. So that this transition comes in, there's the blue. I'll go to where the blue is done, and I'll find a nice spot to overlap these, probably actually right there. So this comes in, and then goes back out. Okay? Now as it goes back out, that's where I want to make sure that I have my other one ready to go. And obviously sandwiched between them. There we go. So here it is, it comes in, transitions, and then disappears, and then there's my next piece. Now just like extending the title sequence or extending any of our pieces so that we have that still, so that we can have a spot where it could transition, I may need to do the same thing for the beginning of this one. If my text animator doesn't start right at the very beginning, or does start right at the very beginning, I need to extend that. So again, I'll go to here, I'll say enable timer mapping. Because it's not a movie, it doesn't have that. I would basically just pretend that this is it. Actually, let me just grab some stuff. Oops. Not that, not that. 1900. Output. Alright, I know one of these I have something. So you guys get so good at stuff that I just don't even need to render the stuff out. I just leave it not rendered out. Dot movie, Sarcona page transitions, no. Sarcona character card, boom, I'll use that one. Alright. So just use that one for the time being. Alright, so for any of your pieces, like this, okay, you may need to extend the beginning of it or extend the end of it, and for any of those you need to add that timer mapping and then just extend these pieces out. The animation is between these two keyframes, so that's where that animation happens, that's where our movie is, and then before this it's a still, so you can see there's no motion. And after this, it's a still, so there's no motion. So that way I have plenty of room to transition on either side of that, okay? So that's what you have to do for any of those pieces where the animation would start right away. Now what we don't want to do is have the bumper on each one of these. We already have a title bumper that says demo reel. I don't need a title bumper for each one of these pieces. So just skip the title bumpers for each one. You will have some room, obviously, on each one of these to have that overlap. So right here, that could be where your title bumper is for your movie for the text animators. That way it goes right into your text animator stuff there, okay? So make sure it flows nicely. So it goes here, demo reel, boom, transition, transition off. There's my text animator, however long that is. Then I'll grab another composition. I'll grab another transition. There. And then again, if I need to, I can duplicate this. I should have cropped that first, whatever. I'll -100 stretch it. Drop this in at the end. And then just bring down my second piece, which would probably be the unfold. And again, mine is a still, so I have to crop it. Yours, you'll have to just crop the title off. All right. So here's this so far there. Boom, boom. And then there would be my unfold. And then we would do the same thing for the next assignment, the same thing for the next assignment, the same thing for the next assignment. If you want to get fancy with these, you can add a little text piece at the bottom of each one of these that would say exactly what it is. That way, for future reference, you remember what the assignment was, you remember what the thing is. You can even add a little caption that would say what the assignment was about, like what you were trying to go through with it, right? If you remember all the way back 14 weeks ago. So for like the 3D unfold, you can say working, that's crazy big. 3D unfold, working with 3D layers. And then of course we would want this to look nice. Let me go like that. We wouldn't want it to be obtrusive, so we would shrink it down enough so that it doesn't look horrible. We may even drop a background in here. That's not a background, that's a mask. There we go. And then I could actually animate each one of these pieces coming on. And then when I go to my next piece, all I have to do is duplicate these two items, scoot it down, and change the text. Duplicate it, scoot it down, change the text. Duplicate it, scoot it down, change the text. Okay? So by the time you're done, you should have a movie that has your bumper at the beginning. Obviously, we would want this at the beginning. Our bumper at the beginning that says what it is, Assignment 8, DemoReel. And then it goes into each one of our assignments and transitions from one to the other. Okay? So however long that takes, it's going to be different for each one of you. Every one of your assignments was slightly longer or shorter or whatever. So it's going to be as long as it is. Yes, ma'am.
So after each transition, we then have that little phrase that you have there as our video is playing? Or?
As the video is playing, you would have that in there, right? So it would just be lined up with, here's my text animator. Oops, actually I have the 3D unfold one, so I need to show the 3D unfold one. So there's a 3D unfold. So see how it reveals itself right there. And then when the next page transition comes in, it hides that whole thing. And then when the next item comes in, it would show the next item.
So we would have that caption during while our video is playing?
Yeah, you would just have it right there while it's playing. And the reason for that is, obviously in this class, we know what it is. At some point, you may get to some point after the semester, someone may come up to you and say, hey, there's a job opening for this, this, and this. I need you to throw together a quick demo reel. You may not have 2 minutes to do that. You already have something that's already kind of laid out, right? You can even add some subtle music to this if you want to. Just go online to, there's a kabillion websites that have free Ben Sound, that's a perfect one, yes, Ben Sound. But something soft, because if you have Angry Birds that has audio in it, you don't want to overpower what your Angry Birds is doing. If you have audio in your character card, which you should, you don't want that to be overpowered. So it should be nice, soft, piano-y kind of music, or, you know, something subtle. If you really want to get fancy with it, then you can get fancy with it.